Okay, the final part of Preludes, Prelude 4. Again, that idea of meaning in life is really, and the absence of meaning is really brought home here. Let's read it. His soul stretched tight across the skies. I mean, there's an image there of life being torture. Like it's like he's describing the rack. You know that medieval instrument of torture where you were pulled and all your ball and socket joints were popped. Your soul is stretched tight against the skies, and the sibilance again, very, very, very evident there. Something that he uses a lot in his poetry. I'm going to read it again. His soul stretched tight against the sky, across the sky, that fade behind a city block, skies that fade behind a city block, or trampled by insistent feet, the soul trampled by insistent feet, at 4 and 5 and 6 o'clock, never ending trampling, the soul, you know, unrelenting, persistent, and short, square fingers stuffing pipes. Again, what a vivid image that is. Somebody smoking tobacco and the little stubby fingers putting the tobacco in the pipe. And the evening newspaper. So, the minutiae of life, all those little things that, make up a day, none of them of any significance. And eyes assured of certain certainties. This idea is our beliefs and what we believe to be true and what we believe to be, absolute. And none of it is true and none of it is absolute, because Eliot is asking, is there any meaning to it? The conscience of a blackened street, impatient to assume the world. I don't know what that means. And then he says, to finish the poem, I am moved by fancies that are curled around these images and cling. He says, I cling. Now, if you cling on, you're clinging on for dear life. If you're clinging on, cling is a really, really good choice of verb, because there's a sense of desperation there. He clings to the notion of some infinitely gentle, infinitely suffering thing. So again, he clings to faith, the idea of faith, but it's laughable. And we get this final image, which is so physical and so unpleasant, and again, lacking in any sense of beauty. Wipe your hand across your mouth and laugh. The worlds revolve like ancient women gathering fuel in vacant lots. The worlds revolve like ancient women. It's a simile. What does it mean? Who knows? Maybe it means nothing. Maybe the whole idea is that life is meaningless and all we're doing is going through the motions, trying to keep warm, and there's actually no meaning there at all. He's a tough poet. I like teaching him in class. I don't know whether I've done a good enough job breaking this down, this poem. But if I was to sum it up, it's a poem in which Eliot succeeds in creating a vivid and realistic portrayal of life in a polluted urban landscape. But more than that, it's a poem about, I think, spirituality. And it's a poem about the absence of meaning, of spiritual meaning in life. And about how life becomes this trudge, this daily chore, this daily masquerade without any kind of meaning or hope for difference and change. I hope that's not too bleak, but that's what I see in the poem.